Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm going to kind of buzz through this because I keep running out of time, but my presentation is on online higher education and kind of going to this main bubble here. I'm addressing just kind of some main concerns and big questions I had about online education, their degrees, the effectiveness of their degrees in a job market, and the graduates and how they compare to their peers. So first, who goes to online universities? According to collegeclasses.com, there are 6 typical categories that students find themselves falling into as an enrolled student in an online university. We have parents as being the highest, busy people or atypical students, so students who do not fall within that normal age range of 18 to 22, and then distance learners, which I call boony students, not an educational term, but people who live in the boonies or far away from the university of their state or in a different state or in a different country. This category is actually one of the strongest and fastest growing ones. You have older students, people who are far outside of the standard age range for someone in their undergraduate coursework, and it might be uncomfortable to go into that environment. There's several reasons about this. You always see these commercials of people hesitant to go back to school. Number 5, the desirous. So people who may not be interested in actually attaining a degree but have an interest in a topic and want to explore that without the need to get a degree. 6, the disabled. College campuses can be very large and hectic and chaotic, and despite best accommodations, it's not always the easiest or the most comfortable for these students, and so that is another category that we find very prevalent. Also, so what are the advantages to an online school? These are the ones that came up most frequently within my research, both from the schools themselves, like University of Phoenix, Arizona State Online, was the convenience factor. You can obviously make your schedule a little bit easier, and employment was one thing that kind of kept coming up recurrently. And that was one of the biggest factors that drew students to these universities, and that's self-reported from students. They were able to keep their full-time job while still going to school. Again, distance learners come up, and parents. What are the disadvantages? One of my questions was if social interaction or not having that social interaction can be a disadvantage, both for building friendships or developing social skills. The one thing with classroom work is that many students, or teachers rather, push for group work, so to develop peer-to-peer interaction so you can learn from one another. And unless you have a class like ours is now structured so well, where there's a lot of interaction, you run the risk of not having that as an aspect of your education. And it's not likely that every class is going to be able to do that for you, so that's one of my disadvantages. Also, coursework is less likely to transfer should you want to go to a university. And we'll talk more about job market disadvantages in just a second. So with reputations, there is a lot of debate over the reputations of online colleges, and the most obvious opposers are, of course, the traditional universities when they're pitted against their online counterparts. However, online universities are not as new as people think, and they do go through very vigorous and rigorous accreditation processes. Employers are a little slow when it comes around to accepting online degrees to be as credible as your standard degree, standard meaning one attained on campus in person, but data does show improvements in hiring trends for graduates of online classes. Nope, didn't mean to do that or that. Apologies. Okay, there we go. So does an online degree hurt your job potential? And this is one of my biggest questions. So this is a contested area, and it often depends on who you ask. Now, according to an article that was published in the Chronicle of Higher Education, there still remains a pretty big bias for traditional degrees earned on campus the old-fashioned way. In a survey recently done by Vault Industries, which is a career information company, they recently conducted a survey where 55% of managers said they still preferred non-online degrees to online degrees. They brought up a couple different case studies and talked about how a girl who was equal to her competitors on all fields was passed up specifically because her degree was online, and they actually did tell her this. And so that's actually a common downfall that is reported by people from online degrees or who have online degrees, and so that's obviously, again, an area that needs to be worked on. But there is evidence of change, and there's a few key highlights. Time, history. So these institutions have been around a while, and people are starting to see them for that reason. Also, employees' competitiveness in the job market, we're actually noticing that their technology skills and their technology, the way that they can integrate that in their job is actually much higher in some cases than those who went to a traditional college. There is a big upsurge in universities who are offering online classes as well as online coursework options or online degrees, and these are Ivy League schools. Also, Ivy League professors are joining in on a movement for MOOCs, which is massive open online courses, because it fosters ingenuity, creativity, and allows people to explore different areas of interest. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I know I ran about 40 seconds over, but those are my guiding questions, and I could say a lot more, but I have to stop now. So thank you.